Today, we will address a very important and personal topic that concerns us all. This is the topic of loneliness in old age, a subject that many prefer not to talk about openly, but each of us will inevitably face it at some point in our lives. We often imagine old age as a time when we will be surrounded by family, spouses, friends, and partners. But what if reality turns out to be completely different? What if loneliness is not just a result of circumstances, but an inevitable part of life? And who will truly stay with you in old age? In this video, we will explore how to avoid loneliness in old age, who you can truly rely on, and what you can do today to prepare for this important stage of life. From an early age, we are taught to believe in the idealized picture of old age. We picture it as a time when we will be surrounded by family, children, spouses, grandchildren, and everything will be as we imagined. We envision old age as a time of warmth and care, full of family gatherings, holidays, and moments of closeness, when all our loved ones come together and we enjoy each other's company. This image is constantly reinforced by movies, stories, and family traditions. But what if the reality turns out to be completely different? What if loneliness is not just a consequence of circumstances, but an inevitable part of life? When we think about old age, we often imagine that our children will always be there, that our spouses will support us during difficult times. We are convinced that those we have loved and cared for will always be with us. But is this really the case? In reality, things are often much more complicated, and it's not because our children or spouses don't want to be with us. It's simply because life progresses, and people, even those closest to us, have their own lives, their own obligations, and their own goals, which may distance them from us. This realization can be painful, and it's something we have to come to terms with. Old age doesn't always bring us what we expect. Families are often not able to be there as we imagine. Children grow up, start their own families, and move to other cities or even countries. We live in a world where everyone is busy with their careers, personal matters, and finding the time to care for aging parents becomes more and more difficult. In the past, families used to live close together, but now we face globalization, which leads to a breakdown of the natural connections that once existed. Of course, this doesn't mean love disappears, but we can't ignore the reality that relationships can become more distant than we would like, and this is not anyone's fault, nor is it a lack of love. It's simply the reality of modern life. But what do we do when family cannot be there? Now, let's consider the important question. Who will truly stay with you in old age? We often think that our children will always be there for us, that our spouse will be there in difficult moments. But if we take a philosophical look at old age, we realize that the main support we have is ourselves. Philosophers from all eras have emphasized the importance of inner strength and self-sufficiency. For example, Stoics taught that the greatest goal in life is inner freedom. They believed that we must be ready for any situation and learn to rely on ourselves. Self-sufficiency and independence are what enable us to not depend on external circumstances and maintain inner peace. Our ability to be independent in old age, not relying on external factors, not always seeking confirmation from others, this is what makes us strong. Of course, family is important, and we hope for support from loved ones, but it's essential to understand that our main support is ourselves. Even if our children cannot be there and our spouses face their own struggles, we must learn not to depend entirely on external sources of support. Developing inner self-sufficiency is the key to ensuring that old age is filled with meaning and joy. When we talk about old age, we must remember that we cannot control others. We can't control whether our children will be there or whether our spouse will always be physically able to support us. But we can control ourselves, and this is the key to avoiding loneliness in old age. Start today to build your system of support. It's not just about family, it's about friends, mentors, like-minded individuals. These people may become the ones you can truly rely on in the future. You need to start investing in these relationships today, as they will provide the foundation for your future security and happiness. Now is the time to develop independence, self-sufficiency, and adaptability. The key to thriving in old age is the ability to find fulfillment and joy without being dependent on others. And to do that, we need to begin building our emotional and physical strength now, while we can still make the changes we need. Now, let's discuss what we can do today to avoid loneliness in old age. How do we prepare for this important stage of life? It's essential to understand that old age is not the end of life, but rather a new stage that can be filled with joy, freedom, and wisdom if we prepare for it properly. This period of life does not necessarily have to be linked to loneliness if we take proactive steps to develop certain qualities and skills. The first thing to think about is self-sufficiency. To avoid loneliness, we need to develop the ability to be independent of others. This doesn't mean that we should avoid close relationships or help from others, but it does mean that we should be able to find joy and meaning in life without constantly relying on external factors. Start with simple things: taking care of your health, maintaining physical activity, and eating properly. It's important to stay physically active so that you remain strong and healthy in old age. But aside from physical health, we must not forget about our mental well-being. Old age can be a time for deep reflection, self-discovery, and inner growth. To avoid emptiness and feelings of loneliness, it's essential to work on our soul. Learn to be at peace in any situation, develop resilience to stress, embrace change with gratitude. This is not an easy task, but philosophy and personal growth can help you navigate these challenges. Additionally, it's crucial to develop financial independence. Often, old age is associated with dependence on children or pensions, but it's important to recognize that financial independence will allow you to live your later years with dignity. Plan your finances, create a safety net. Investing in your financial future is not only a guarantee of a comfortable old age, but also a sense of security that will help avoid feelings of helplessness in the future. Equally important is the development of social connections. Loneliness in old age is not only about physical isolation, but also about the lack of deep connection with others. To avoid loneliness, it's important to have a network of people in your life, not just family, but also friends, like-minded individuals, people with whom you share common interests and views on life. Make new acquaintances, maintain relationships with those close to you, but also actively build external connections through clubs, volunteering, hobbies. This will create a strong support network that will help you in your later years. Professional help is another essential aspect of preparation. It's important to remember that there are professionals who can support us in old age: doctors, caregivers, social workers, even domestic helpers. Having good relationships with these people can significantly ease your life in old age, as they can become those on whom you can rely when family is not available. Also, remember that loneliness is not always something negative. In philosophy, loneliness is often seen as an opportunity for self-exploration and inner growth. It's a chance to understand yourself better, find your inner balance, and achieve harmony with yourself. Instead of fearing loneliness, we should learn to see it as part of life and an opportunity for personal growth. In conclusion, I want to emphasize that old age is not an end, but a new beginning. And the sooner we start preparing for this stage, the easier it will be to go through it with dignity. Old age can be a time filled with joy, wisdom, and inner freedom if we prepare for it in advance. We can't control what life will bring, but we can prepare for this stage by developing independence, taking care of our health, and building strong social connections. Remember that family support is important, but it should not be the only solution. Start developing self-sufficiency today. Take care of yourself, invest in your health, build strong relationships with people, and be ready for the changes that old age will bring. Your life is your journey, and it's up to you how it will unfold in the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with friends. Let your path be filled with wisdom, joy, and harmony, and may old age be a time of true freedom. See you on the path of wisdom.